I'm a little fairy alpha male. I'm a little alpha male princess. I messed it up. I'm a little, because I wanted to do, I'm a little fairy princess. No, I'm a little fairy princess. No, I'm a little fairy princess. But it's really, no, I'm an alpha princess. I'm a little alpha princess. So there was a lot of internet drama going on, and I figured I'd cover a little bit of it because a lot of people like to view those types of things. But I don't necessarily like to take the perspective that I see majority of the people, streamers, content creators, whatever we all are, YouTubers, that type of stuff. Um, I don't necessarily agree with the way that they handle their criticism, though the criticism is to call for. So what we're talking about today is Jack Murphy, who was the leader of a group in the manosphere. Now, I don't know what the manosphere is, but I did a little bit of research looking it up and seeing, what's the deal with all this stuff. And it seems that he's like a masculinity seller, like he sells masculine. So it's kind of like you think about like a guru or a self-help coach. Now you used to get like mainly self-help coaches who were trying to help business professionals. It was mainly business professionals. Like you get the Tony Robbins, you get the I can't remember any of their names, but you know what I'm saying. Those types of figures. The Gary Vaynerchuk, he's like more of a new agey type of guy, but still same function. Same function. And the way I look at it as they all pretty much have the same message. It just depends on the delivery system. How do you like the way that they deliver that information to you? Do you like the way that Tony Robbins does it? Or do you like the way that Gary Vaynerchuk does it? Or do you like the way that name any other motivational type speaker or something like that? So Jack Murphy's kind of like that. So I think he's a veteran. I think he was in the military. His name's not actually Jack Murphy. I think it's Jack Goldman or John Goldman, something like that. Which isn't very, I know people are making that a big deal, but that's not necessarily that big of a deal. You change your name all the time, especially in entertainment. In wrestling, like, my name's not Paul Jourdain, so go figure. I mean, it kind of is. It's my middle name, but close enough. I don't spell it the same way. But you have a gimmick name, especially if your business is being a public persona out there. I get that, and especially if you want to make it sound cool. You want to make it sound more like it belongs with what you're selling, So Jack Murphy, as opposed to John Goldman, maybe Jack Murphy sounds more like I don't know. It sounds like that. Jack Murphy sounds like one of those freaking, what's it called movie? I can't remember what they're called. Sounds like one of those, like sleeper cell names or something. Like, oh, we got to get Jack Murphy and John Connor over here. Jack Murphy and John Connor are the ones that can help. They know what's going on, and they're going to let us know. And Murphy was RoboCop. Murphy was RoboCop. Anyway, so these guys, these girls, these people, these gurus, these people push a message. And the message generally is to help people. So now we're getting into the manosphere, and the manosphere sounds to me like it's about being a man, and that's always been an interesting conversation for me because that definition, I always, in my perspective, in my honest opinion, I feel like there is no universal way to be what a man is. You create your expectations in what you want in the world, and then your expectations in what you want out of yourself. And if you want to call yourself a man and you want to have your own rules for what that entails, then I understand that. I'm pretty much that way. I like to have my own definition. I don't necessarily like to go off of other people's definitions because they're not living my life. I'm living my life, and I know what exactly I need more. And sometimes you don't know what you need, though, and you do need to hear a perspective from someone else. That's why mentors are great. That's why self-help type people are great. But the problem is it goes into this little bit of, like a rapper, like they rap about all these crazy crimes that they're committing, but most of the time they probably didn't. I mean, there's still a few rappers that are real, but most of them aren't. They're just artists. They're just making it seem. They're playing a persona. They put their mask on so that you can think that they're acting a certain way because it's more entertaining. It's more believable. It's more fun. So Jack Murphy's doing that in the manosphere. He's selling masculinity. So I guess he's helping men become tougher, kind of like the Joe Rogan thing. And I don't really think Joe Rogan pushes too much of the masculinity stuff, too. He is a dude. And to be fair, it is important for dudes to have their own boys clubs so that you can have guy time, so girls can have girl times, guys can have guy times. Then you mix them in every now and then here or there, but there always needs to be some type of a separation so everyone can have an equilibrium and just let loose. Because when you're with your friends, it's different than you are with your girlfriend, vice versa, or your girlfriends and your boyfriends, and however you go about it, there needs to be some type of separation. Because being around each other all the time kind of messes you up and it makes you go haywire. And we all think differently as it is anyway. So it always helps. So the dangers of the gurus are maybe they're not exactly what they are portrayed to be. And no one is. No one is. Look at any author throughout time, any person throughout time, throughout history. I guarantee you, there's a lot of stuff we don't know about them publicly that we would probably find reprehensible. I would think reprehensible. But you don't want to support that. And the controversy with Jack Murphy is he's doing the masculinity thing. He's doing the, be tough, take care of your family, take care of yourself, that type of stuff. And then it came out that he wrote an article about him letting his wife have sex with other men on Tinder and then him talking about how awesome it is. Again, not my flavor, not my thing, but hey, you do what you do, bro. You do what you do. Now, the only problem that I see with that is if you are purveying that you are this tough guy who has high standards or certain standards for himself in the way that he needs to act in the world, and you're pushing that out, but you're not necessarily living it yourself, we're all hypocrites. We're all hypocrites. But to what level does that hypocrisy, at what level do you find that acceptable or not acceptable? Now, it didn't seem like the problem was the fact that the masculinity guy was called out for letting people have sex with his sexual partner or whatever. And that's whatever. People are into whatever they're into. It's not a big deal to me. But it was brought up on a podcast, and when they brought it up, his reaction, Jack Murphy's reaction, was very bad. Not very masculine at all. It wasn't very alpha dog at all. It seemed like a child losing his temper. And I thought it would be a fascinating thing to talk about because you're pushing these things and you're in the public eye. But even then, even at that point, he knows exactly what he's pushing and how he's pushing it, being Mr. Masculinity, Mr. Alpha Dog. He's still kind of lost his shit.
Could you please clear up the cuck article you wrote?
I am not going to talk about this.
Okay.
And basically, you know what? Fuck you for bringing this up right here and right now. Why are you doing this to me?
I didn't know that. I didn't know what it was.
Well, just use a little bit of fucking common sense.
Sorry, apologies.
Yeah. Fuck you.
Elizabeth.
Heartfelt.
If anything, if he would have just handled it a little bit better, if he would have just handled it a little bit better, if he would have been like, that's just some old stuff, guys. I've been learning and growing, and that's not me anymore. I mean, what can you say to that? You just be like, okay, well, we all change. We all have these things that we have to do. So, we all are constantly evolving. We're all constantly growing. We're all consistently growing. So it's one of those things where he made things worse on himself, possibly. There's no telling how any of this really goes, but possibly, theoretically, he made things a lot worse on himself And it made people come down on him, and people stopped following him. And then there was a lot of stuff, and this goes into the guru thing. So he was asking a pretty penny from people to mentor them. And then you would join their online club, and then their online club would be, I guess, I don't know. I've never been in an online club or any of those things. I see a lot of these things on the outside, but I think that it's better for us to pay attention. Pay close attention. And try to be as strenuous as you can with the people that you do look up to. Everyone's heroes aren't necessarily the heroes for what you think they would be. Yeah, the gimmick, it's just the dangers of this stuff. It's the dangers of this stuff. I'm the little alpha princess. I'm a little alpha princess. I don't even think it's necessarily important to find out who's alpha, who's not alpha. I mean, technically, there is no real alpha perspective or personality. There's little bits and pieces of things. But be careful with who you look up to. Be careful with who you get to mentor. And this is a problem with mentorship, because being able to get a mentor used to help you in your life, and normally it would be in some type of an industry. If you're a blacksmith, you would go to a blacksmith and you would find a mentor who was a blacksmith, and they would help you. Same thing with mechanics, same thing with professionals, professional wrestling. I've had a few mentors in my life helping me get better with a different perspective. It's not necessarily like they gave me a new drill that was going to help me do amazing, but they definitely gave me a different perspective in how to look at things. So mentors and these types of characters are great, but when there's 4 or 5 degrees of separation between you and that person, saying that, like Jack Murphy, his persona that he's pushing, like Tony Robbins, like all these guys, is to help you become something or help you do something that you're not necessarily doing right now, and you need a little bit of help. And we all need a little bit of help on things. They are right. The thing is, they are right. We do need help. We do need mentors. We do need a little self-help. Self-help, us helping ourselves with a little bit of help from my friends. That's what the books are for. That's what all of these types of things are for, because as human beings throughout society now, we don't have access to people literally in our real lives. So that's the beautiful about the beautiful thing about the internet. I know that we harp on a lot of very bad negative things with the internet, and that's true, because a lot of those negative things are really holding us back as a society and making people go crazy at each other, go crazy about everything, kill themselves, all kinds of stuff from all this technology that we have. Good and bad. A lot of bad though, but the good is being able to find mentors and find people who can help you get a little bit better in whatever it is that you're trying to. So the degrees of separation is a lot harder to do, though. So maybe find a self-help person who is in your state, who you can go to their seminars. You actually can meet them in person, instead of giving thousands of dollars away to people so that you can join their forum, and then you can just have more people try to sell you things. And it's a constant grift of selling, and there's no interpersonal relationships. They don't get to know you. They don't get to see you. You don't get to know them. You don't know each other. It's an artificial relationship, and it helps a lot of people, but I don't think it helps as many people as it does. I think it makes people feel good, but not necessarily help them take those steps to that next level, because this is not a super specific thing. Masculinity. What's masculinity? I don't know. I'll tell you what I believe a man is, but I don't know what your definition of a man is. So we're all right there, offset. There's no book that will tell you exactly what a man is, and I'm sure that these guys have probably written them. And they're probably good ideas. You can take these ideals and work them out for you. But at the end of the day, try not to focus on a guru. Try not to let these people act like you need their help. They act like they're holier than thou and they can help you and they have all the answers. And then you get there and you give them all your money and you realize nobody has all the answers. A little bit of people here have an answer. There's an answer. Here's over there. You got to search for them. And you have to live your life a little bit and figure it out. So, in the long run, guys, find a mentor. If you can find a mentor, even if they're not physically within reach, maybe you can find a mentor in a specific industry that you are wanting to get into, or a hobby that you're wanting to get into. You can find a mentor in all of these aspects of life, and that will help you in the future. But be careful getting with these people online, because it's way easier for them to hide the aspects of their personality that they are trying to hide. And this guy was obviously trying to hide a lot of his sexual. There's a lot more sexual stuff that was going on with all that, but that's irrelevant to me. I don't really get too much into that. You could understand why people would be pissed off, because he's pushing the masculinity thing and oh yeah, you take care of your friends and family and that type of stuff, and then he's out being sexually explicit. And he was in like the conservative circle. So I guess the manosphere is like a conservative circle thing. So it makes sense why people would come down on him and be like, no, you're acting like a degenerate. You're not acting like a conservative man that you're building us to be. But if you want to be that, it might be a better idea for you to create your own ideals in what you want to be as a man or woman, and then you strive for that. Because if anything, you're less likely to let yourself down. You know yourself. Now, don't get me wrong, I let myself down a lot because I have high expectations. But you're less likely because you know yourself, and you can see your progress. You can write your stuff down. You can do all that stuff. So, in conclusion, as we finish up here, guys, be careful with the mentors that you get. If you can, find one that's close to you within your industry, within more of a niche and specified locale or subject, so that you can learn something from it. You can learn something from it and take something from it. Because going to Tony Robbins is good motivational stuff, and that'll probably last you about a week, but there's no intangibles to help you get better except for going there and networking. And that's cool. Networking is a big, big, good thing. But in order for us to strive for our better, to make ourselves better every single day, it's all on us. It's all on us. So I hope you all have a good one. Always, always stay strong. That was fun.